Yo guys, welcome to the video. This is Josh on Milky, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about one of the newest scarabs added in this patch. It is the Divination Scarab of the Cloister. I know I missed the scarab yesterday, so there you go. The Divination Scarab of the Cloister is what we're using today. I've made a bit of progress on my city today, so I'll just quickly go over that first. I've got all my mappers set up. They're pretty good. Making a bit of headway on the shipping. I'll make a video on that in the next coming days, but it is costing me an awful lot to run this city. So this strat actually was to get a lot of gold and a lot of loot, and we definitely got a lot of both. So let's go into how it works. This scarab here is called the Divination Scarab of the Cloister. It adds 8 to 12 packs of Doedries devoted to the map, and each one has a 1% chance to drop a stacked deck. Now you can stack these together, and then you're going to get a lot of stacked decks every single map. And it's also just a ton of monsters. You can get up to 60 additional packs of monsters on your map, which is obviously a huge amount. Now, let's talk about two things that I was doing. The first one was running 8 mod maps. That's because you'll see that it has a large pack size roll. This fixed amount of drops is exactly that. It is fixed. You cannot scale it with quantity. You have a 1% chance, or a 5 if they stack together. So the only way we can get more of the stacked decks is to get more monsters, and we do that by scaling the pack size of the map itself. Now, I've been running Defiled Cathedrals. I'll quickly explain why. This was the loot if you wanted a quick peek. But why I've been running Defiled Cathedral is I'm looking for a Nameless Seer. A lot of people have been asking me about this because I write, Jungle Valley on the tree, but I'm running Defiled. The reason for that is the Nameless Seer allows you to send the divination card rewards from one map into another. It is not a swap, it is a send. So the cards from the map you are in go to the map of your choosing. So I'm doing Defiled Cathedral to try and send the cards to most likely either Jungle Valley or City Square. So that's how scrying works. Unfortunately, I have not found a seer yet, despite running well over 500 maps. But it is what it is. I'm not going to cry about it. Now, we also have this new chisel that got added. This one adds 20%, pack size to the map, which is very good. We do lose a bit of quantity, but we also get a lot more pack size. So you can see this map has 45% pack size. That's going to get scaled by all the increased effect. Now, if we compare it to this, which has no chisel on it, there are some nodes on the tree that make this important. So we're going to get 2% per explicit modifier. Obviously on an 8 mod, that's 16. We get less on an uncorrupted 8 mod map. But we also get to chisel our map for the extra 12 here. So the argument as to whether or not you should chisel or not, well, it kind of goes whether or not the chisels are expensive. If they are, then I would stick to 8 mods. If the chisels are affordable, then I would say it's perfectly reasonable to use the pack size chisels for this strategy, at least at the time of recording, as prices do change. One thing I would like to say quickly, I don't make these videos trying to ruin anyone's time with the farms that they're doing. I'm not trying to out anyone, trying to stop anyone making currency. I'm trying to spread these strats for people to do. Yes, maybe the day after I make the video, the strats are a little bit inflated and difficult to do, but that will settle down and you'll be able to do these. I just get that out of the way. I don't want everyone, I get demonized a little bit sometimes because, obviously things go up and I can't really do anything about that. But let's go to a map and see how it goes. I'll show you an example of the loot. We are adding in Ritual to this strat, and that's because it's got a bit of a unique interaction with these mobs, actually. Typically, Ritual doesn't work the way that it does with these mobs. It allows you to resummon the mobs multiple times and still get that stack deck reward, which isn't something that typically happens. If a mob has a specific drop that it has, resummoning it with Ritual doesn't typically allow you to drop that loot a second time, but for this mob it does, and that's because I think they have a completely separate drop pool, and that's just because of the sheer number of mobs that it adds. If they had a regular drop pool, well, then they'd be a bit of a juicer's heaven, right? Because you'd have 60 additional packs of mobs on the map. You can see in this map I have 46 additional packs of mobs, 60% increased pack size. I think I've seen as high as maybe 70 or 80% pack size. You see 2 stack decks popped out of Ritual. That was because of the Doedries mobs. They are pretty annoying as far as mobs go. Like, they've got proxy bubbles. So bear that in mind. If you're playing a build that's going to struggle with that, maybe not going to be for you. But you see we're just getting tons and tons. And these, in bulk, go for about 2C a pop. I can't see these going down. If anything, the Scarab will go up. Obviously, when a strategy like this exists, the market will adjust. And because of how div cards are, the only thing that could happen, in my opinion, with this is that the Scarabs go up. So again, bear that in mind. At the time of recording, it is 7C per Scarab, which means you are paying a cost to enter the map of 35C plus the cost of the map. but you more than cover that in the number of stack decks that you're going to get. You only need to drop, what, 18 stack decks, and you've already covered the map cost. And bear in mind, if you aren't doing a Defiled Cathedral like I am, you're probably going to go twice as fast. So that like almost guaranteed loot from the stack decks is going to account for a huge, you know, profit per round. Now, you can see as well, with the number of mobs that it adds, we are getting a ton of gold. I think I had 411k before I came in here. I'm now up to 422, which is very nice. If you do manage to get lucky, yeah, you can get basic currency as a chance to be duplicated from these altars. That does work for stack decks. Definitely something to look out for. Make sure you click your altars. But yeah, it's basically just... Of course I died. These wildwood mobs that do this are so crazy. And you are obviously getting other loot as you go. You're going to get like some altar loot, some maps, all that kind of stuff. You're going to drop some T17s, maybe some raw currency. I've dropped a couple of divines doing this just because of the sheer number of mobs in the map. It's really nice. Maybe one day you'll get that divine orb altar from the blue altars. I would say you could probably do red as well. You don't have to do blue for this. The quants that you get doesn't really do anything for you. It's more about just hunting down that duplicate basic currency mod, which you can get on red. So red is absolutely fine as well. I know a lot of people ask me red or blue. Most of the time the answer is whichever you prefer. This is one of those strats. And that'll be that. So that's the map. You can see we got, what is it? 46 stack decks on that. That's actually below average for what I got. And in order to show what I got, let's head on over to the trusty old spreadsheet. I did 20 maps worth of recording at least. I did more than that before, just to kind of get a lay of the land. And here's the breakdown. I got 1,094 stack decks in those 20 maps. So we averaged over 50 per map, almost 55 per map. And the divine value of these stack decks is about 12 and a bit. And then the rest of the tab made up about 11 divines worth of value. That's in scarabs, maps, all that kind of stuff. So if you're blasting this, you can be making a pretty decent divine price. I've got 9.1 here. If you manage to do this in what was 2 hours, as I say, 20 maps in 2 hours really isn't pushing it that much, is it? You could definitely do that, probably even faster. If you're playing one of the easier maps, you're not doing Defiled Cathedral like I am. Now, as for the tree, this will, again, always be on my sheet. You can see exactly what I'm running. It's this tree right here. We have all the scarabs. I can't socket in the map. This needs updating. We don't currently have the 6th slot. But you can see we've got all the scarab drops just for a bit of additional loot. We're not really looking to scale anything other than that. We've got shrines. Just nice to add. They had a lot of mobs that are good for the altars and stuff like that. Good gold. Then we have ritual chants, more scarabs. All these little 1-point ritual nodes are important. 4th ritual right here, so we get that 4th pop of stack decks, and then just scaling the effect as much as possible to get as much pack size as we can. And then blue altars, pretty standard tree. You could arguably swap the scarab stuff out for something else, but I just wanted to go as fast as possible, so I didn't really want to bloat my map with more and more mechanics. So that is going to be that for today. I hope you try this strat out. I hope you enjoy it. The scarabs may be more expensive the day after making this video, but do be assured, things don't stay that way forever. I'd rather this strat be out there and be on your mind as something you might want to farm, whether tomorrow or in the future for this league, or if you're watching this in a week, then you're probably more than capable of going ahead and farming this. But yeah, there it is. The stack deck Divination Scarab of the Cloister farm gets a thumbs up from me. Very good, very fun. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.